Hello students, welcome to the class by Nicholas Robinson. I am a professor in the Department of Computer Science. I am good with Indian, Australian and African curriculums. Summary of my profile, what you have seen right now on the screen. Today, the main focus of the class is about OOPS in C++. OOPS means Object Oriented Programming System in C++. You can learn all the major concepts of OOPS. Before we go ahead to start the session, let's have a quick glance of an agenda. First, why we need OOPS? Second one, what is Object Oriented Programming? After that, we will discuss the difference between OOPS and procedural programming. Then, we will go through the basic concepts of OOPS. At last, we will learn about benefits of OOPS with simple class programs. Going ahead, let's see the introduction part of OOPS. First of all, just look at why we need OOPS. What is mean for OOPS? OOPS. There were some limitation in earlier approaches of a program. OOPS helps to fill those gaps. Second one, with OOPS, it is easy to maintain and modify the existing code. With the help of classes and objects, code modification is very easy. Third one, it is increase the reusability as well as the simplicity of the program. Okay, so reusability and the simplicity has been achieved with the help of inheritance. Because you can write your code once and no need to repeat the same code again and again. Automatically you can use with the help of inheritance. Next you can move on the object-oriented programming in C++. Just divide object into two parts. One is object-oriented programming, second one is C++. What this mean for object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming is a programming methodology or model that organizes a program. Object-oriented programming is performing such operations. That is, with the help of classes and objects, you can write a program and utilize the features of OOPS. Some features it have. Before that, we can say object-oriented programming in another terminology. Programs are structured around the objects rather than logics and functions. It has some features, that is objects, classes, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance and data abstraction. We will study all features one by one. What benefits of OOPS? The code reusability is high because we can write a code once and reuse the objects with the help of inheritance. Second one, due to the ability to hide the parts of program, some parts of program is hidden. It helps to build a secure system, so high security it's providing. Third benefit is it is much easier to modify and maintain the program with the help of classes and objects. These are the major benefits of OOPS. So before, we are divided into object-oriented programming into two parts. OOPS and C++. So what is mean for C++? C++ programming was introduced by Bejan Stroustrup in 1979 at Bell Laboratory. His aim was to make a dynamic program, or his aim is to make a dynamic language that was efficient and has some additional features with the C. Initially it was called as C with classes, later renamed with C++. So this is the C++ history. C++ supports all features of OOPS such as like inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction, encapsulation. It also supports procedural programming and functional programming also. Let's see one by one. Now look at OOPS versus procedural programming. Procedural programming follows the top-down approach. Object-oriented programming follows bottom-up approach. So what is mean for top-down approach and bottom-up approach? Top-down approach means breaking the bigger problem into the smaller one. Then it repeats the process with each problem. So based on the decomposition approach, we can achieve the top-down approach. Some procedural programming follows the top-down approach. Some examples of the procedural programming is BASIC, Fortran, Pascal, C, COBOL, etc. But object-oriented programming, identifying and solving the smallest program or smallest problem and then integrating them together to solve a bigger problem. So it is called as the bottom-up approach. It is based on the decomposition approach we can achieve, and it has the minimum data redundancy and high integrity and high reusability. Some examples of bottom-up approach: C++, Java, C#, maybe JavaScript, Python, PHP, etc. Those everything is called as bottom-up approach programs. Overloading is not possible in the top-down approach, but overloading is possible in the OOPS concept. So overloading is not supporting in the procedural oriented programming. Why? What does mean for overloading? Overloading is nothing. The process of creating two or more methods with the same name but different arguments. So two or more method has the same name, but inside the arguments we are giving is different arguments. This is called as overloading. In C++ support function overloading and operator overloading. No access specifiers in procedural oriented. Access specifiers available in object oriented program. So what are the access specifiers it supports? It's private, public and protected. 3 access specifiers supports to access the members of a class. Procedural oriented program is less secure. Object oriented programming is more secure, because some part of the program is hidden at the runtime and producing the result, called as data abstraction and encapsulation concepts we can achieve. So based on that, we are telling it is high security in OOPS. Basic concepts of OOPS. You can see basic concepts of OOPS. First one is class, then objects, inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction, encapsulation, dynamic binding and message passing. Let's see one by one. So before entering the class, we should know about access modifiers and member functions. What is mean for access modifiers in C++? It defines how the member of the class can be accessed. There are three types of access modifiers is present in C++. One is private, second one is protected, third one is public. In private, we can access within the class, within the same class. In derived class and outside the class is not supporting. Protected means we can access within the class and derived class, but it's not support outside the class. Public member is good one. It is support within the class, derived class and outside the class. So these are the three access modifiers support in C++. Next, look at what is meant for functions. Function is a group of statement or set of program that performs a specific task. Functions are used for divide a large code into submodules. So this is very good approach in the OOPS concept. So any functions that is declared as part of a class is called a member function. Within a class, if we are declaring, that is called as a member function. Member functions are invoked by sending a message to an instance of a class. Instance of a class means what is class created, then object creating. So with the help of object only we can invoke the function. On that place we use object name dot function. Object name dot function name. So we are using the dot operators that is used for access public members of a class. So access specifier we are using. So within the public members of a class we can access with the help of the dot operator. Just example, object name dot function name. So in C++ there are two functions are support. One is built-in functions, another one is user-defined function. Now we can move on the major concepts of OOPS, that is called as class. What is meant for class? Class is a collection of objects. In other words, we can say class is the collection of data members and member function. It acts like as a container. It has variables and methods. And class creating or declaration of class, on that time memory does not allocate it. When object created, after that immediately memory has been allocated. So this is the class definition. Let's see how to declare it or define a class. A class definition we must use with the keyword of class. Okay, class is the keyword required and the class name, it is the user defined name. You can give class is the keyword, class name is X or Y or Z, anything you can give. Open the braces and close the braces. But end of the class must come with the semicolon. Class name ends with the semicolon. So within that braces you can mention the access specifiers, data members and member functions, so that we are telling it is acting, class is act like as a container. Okay, access specifier may be the private, public or protected. Data members are variables to be used. Member functions is called as a function definitions. Just look at an example. Class is the class name is date. Open the braces. Public is access specifier. Give the variables, integer variable and variable name, that is called as a properties. Then give us the method or function. Void print date and open and close. Inside of the function body you can write some codes. So void is null value. If you want to give some integer or something, returning purpose. Then we can move it objects. Object is the instance of a class. Object has their own properties and methods. An object can be defined as instance of a class. That's we learned. And memory is also allocated when we define a class. When we define a class, and that time no memory allocated. When an object is created, then the memory is allocated automatically. The syntax of the object: class name space object name. Maybe the class name is state and object name is st. You can give object name. Example of classes and objects. Just look at the image. Vehicle is a class. So in this vehicle they have bus, bike, truck, car, etc. But it has some properties and methods. What kind of properties and methods have the vehicle class? Vehicle has their own colors, their own name, their own make, their own model, but it has the method of how much distance traveled. And you come to that animal class. In animal class, maybe in different animals within a class, but each animal have their own properties and methods. Look at here: rabbits, crocodile, elephant, giraffe, zebra and dog. So just take out dog. Dog has their own properties and methods. What properties it have? It has the color, it has height, it has weight. Okay, these are the properties. What kind of method it have? Maybe dog can bark. So barking, eating, sleeping. Those are the methods of the dog. So each and every object has their own properties and methods. Next, move on the topic of inheritance. Inheritance, we can say the mechanism of deriving a new class from an existing one. So deriving a new class from an existing one, that is, new class is called as derived class. Existing one class is called as base class. The base class also called as superclass or parent class. The derived class are called as subclass or child class. The syntax of inheritance: class is the keyword, subclass name, colon, superclass name. So this colon operator is used to inherit the properties of subclass into the main class. So the colon is support or inherit the properties of base class into the derived class. So types of inheritance are there. Generally 5 types of inheritance support in C++. One is single inheritance, second one is multi-level inheritance, third one is multiple inheritance, fourth one is hierarchical inheritance, last one is the hybrid inheritance. So just look at the colon is the operator which is used to inherit the features of base class into the derived class. It improves the functionality of the derived class because it's have the base class property and its own derived class property. So functionality is improved functionality or high functionality. Advantages of the inheritance: application development time is very less because code reusability we are using, and application take less memory only. Application execution time also very less. Application performance is improved or highly performance. Redundancy or repetition of the code is reduced. So these are the major advantages of inheritance. Come to the point of first single inheritance. Single inheritance is only one base class and one derived class. That means single inheritance exists single base class and single derived class. Just look at the example. the lion and cub. Lion is called as a base class, cub is the derived class. So this derived class inherits all the properties or all the heredity of base class with the help of colon operator. Then move on, multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance, usually it have the single base class, class A, and single derived class, class D, but in between multiple intermediate class we have. So multi-level inheritance, usually good example is a family. You can say in a family, this is a child. This child inherit both parent and grandparent physical and mental traits. So this is the multi-level inheritance example. Then move on, multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance have more than one base class and only one derived class. That is, each and every child, example, each and every child has two parents, one is mother and one is father. So these are the, because child is a derived class, only one derived class. Parent is more than one base class. Next we can move is the hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance have just opposite of the multiple inheritance. Okay, just opposite of multiple inheritance, because multiple inheritance is many base class and only one derived class. Here only one base class and many derived class. So for example, physics, chemistry, biology are derived from the science class usually. Otherwise you can take the shape. Shape is rectangle is one shape, triangle is one shape, circle is another shape, or rhombus is another one shape. This different kind of shapes is there. So only one base class and multiple derived class. Another one amazing example I can say. The white light or sunlight is passed on the prism. Then it can produce the Vibgyor color. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So only one base class, only one white light is passing, but multiple colors are expands. So these are the example of hierarchical inheritance. Last one we are moving is the hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is nothing, combination of two or more inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. Maybe it is a single inheritance and multiple inheritance, or hierarchical inheritance and multiple inheritance, any kind, it's a combination. Just look at keenly, you can see this is the single inheritance and this one is the hierarchical inheritance. Look at this one is a hierarchical inheritance and this one is the multiple inheritance. So this is any combination of any two inheritance is called as hybrid inheritance. Next move on the important concepts about polymorphism. The polymorphism, the term derived from the Greek term. So it is the ability to exist in more than one form. So the polymorphism, the term you can divide, otherwise you can combine poly plus morphs, that means many forms. In C++ support polymorphism, two things. One is compile time polymorphism, another one is runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism invoke the code at compile time. It is called as static binding or early binding. Runtime polymorphism, it can invoke the method at runtime rather than the compile time. So it is called as dynamic binding or late binding. Compile time polymorphism have two things. One is function overloading, another one is operator overloading. Already we know the overloading concept. The method, two or more method has the same name but different arguments. Operator overloading. So these are the two things are support for the compile time polymorphism. Virtual functions or method overriding is support for the runtime polymorphism. Just example, one real time example. He is a boy. Okay, this boy goes in a shopping mall, behave like he's a customer. The same boy goes in a bus. He can behave like a passenger. The same boy going to the school, he has like act as a student. He is in a home, he is act as a son. So single person acting multiple role is called polymorphism. So many form, single person, many activities. Encapsulation is a major concept, one of the major concept. So all are OOPS concept. Everything is very, very important to implement in C++. So encapsulation is nothing, it is a wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit. Otherwise it is a wrapping up of methods and variables into a single unit. Is known as encapsulation, or binding of code and data together in a single unit. You can say any definition. For example, you can look at this. Class is the best example of the encapsulation, and encapsulation achieved by class. So this class has methods and variables. So methods and variables are binded, wrapped together and focusing on a class. Look as a capsule. This capsule has many medicines, but outside we can see only for the capsule. So class is the best example of the encapsulation. The encapsulation benefits, it helps to reduce the complexity of the code, and it helps to hiding and protect the data. Data security is important, complexity is reduced, and code we can alter using the access modifier. So these are the major benefits of the encapsulation. Abstraction is nothing, it's a hiding unwanted thing and enlightening the essential features only. So hiding the internal details and showing the functionality to the user efficiently. Data abstraction is the process of providing only the essential details to the outside world. In the technical term, data abstraction is the programming technique that depends on the separation of the interface and implementation details of a program. In data abstraction, we are achieving the C++ abstraction using classes and abstraction in header files. For example, data abstraction, look at this example, is a car, is hiding the internal operations. You look at the car, internal operations, you can see internal parts, engine have piston, rod, and everything is have internal components. But we are not required for that to drive the car. We are just looking outside appearance of the car. This is the best example of abstraction. Okay, data abstraction. Another one example is mobile. Mobile screen we can see, but internal operations or internal performance we are not ready to look at. So outside look and appearance is more than enough for the data abstraction. So these are the major OOPS concepts. Now we can learn, otherwise we can move to the last session, the benefits of OOPS, with the help of some simple programs. Just hi students, now let's move on the final session or final concepts of today's class with one simple example class program. Before entering the coding part, you must recall the theoretical part of OOPS with C++ or OOPS in C++. Classes, objects, function, definition, and access specifiers. These are the major things of the building blocks of the simple programs. Now I am using GDP compiler and debugger. It acts as a IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So what is meant for IDE? IDE is comprises of, is a compiler text editor, linker and libraries. So it's support very easily. So I am using this one. Now I have the plan to write a program of employee salary. So simply I have the plan to get an input, to give an input and display an output with the help of class program. Just imagine how can we write. So first declare the class and the main program. First declaration of the class or class definition, we need the keyword for class. Look at class keyword require space class name, that means the function name. I am just giving Newton. Class, open and close the braces, curly braces, end of the class definitely need semicolon. Semicolon is in between class. So within the class block must need an access specifier. So use public as an access specifier. Members can access inside the class, outside the class and derived class. Then class comprises of variables and methods, so that we are calling its acts as a container. So declare the variable integer and variable name. I am just giving salary is the variable name of integer type, and methods require define the function which is going to return some value given salary. Sal is a defined function. Open and close braces. Write your logic inside this braces. So I have the plan to insert input value and display the output value. So on string you should produce display the screen. So Cout is the common output statement with extraction operator. Then you can write Cout and extraction operator is used as a output statement. Is enter your salary. Okay, it is just going to display enter your salary. End of the line you to give endel semicolon. Now you to get an input cin with insertion operator, you get a value. So the variable only holding the values. So salary is going to collect integer data type as a salary. Yes, salary. Okay, then we have the plan to display the salary. So you give some string, your salary is, give some space, variable, which variable hold the data, that variable name salary is the variable name. Just to give for that. Yeah, this is a simple function. Now class definition is over. Now move on the main program. So data type void, or some data type void is nothing going to return. So integer, because we need to return the salary, and main is the keyword for the main program. Open and close bracket. Within the main program only, we can write the code. Okay, within the main program, you just create an object. How can you create an object? Class name is important. Class name space object name. What is your class name? Just go here and look at my class name is Newton. So just copy that one. Otherwise you can directly enter the Newton, because it is case sensitive. Newton space object create. You can create any object. That may be object name is n. Give the semicolon. Now object created. Okay, object created. You just give or invoke the function. Whenever object created, on that a memory allocated automatically in C++ program. Now you can invoke the method object name dot invoke the function, or which statement you have given, sal is the function name there. Give the semicolon. That's all. It will close the curly braces. Now if we try to execute this program, definitely we can get an output. What? Input salary. This one is the first statement. See out, enter your salary will display, and see input is getting what input you have given, that will display the output. This is the code logic. You to save and run the program. Yeah, it is loading. Definitely look at the output screen. This is the output screen. Enter your salary. You can give any salary. If you giving enter, your salary is and given value display. Yeah, just to look at this output. Enter your salary is then collected input and displayed the same output from. Now you come here the explanation part. How can we explain this program? Otherwise control how it execute this program. Initially when you are compiling, the compilation is over. Then the compiler will come, the control will come and look at where is the main program or main function or main method is where exists. Here is the main method. Okay, then it is trying to enter inside the code block, finding the first one is a class name, looking Newton is the class name. Then immediately it will check whether Newton class is exist or not. So just copy, Control C and find the Control F, give Newton, enter. Yeah, exactly, you can see the class name is Newton. So control initially enter inside the main block and find the class name. With the class name, n number of in a program, n number of class is there. So finding the exact class name. So Newton is we found the class Newton. Then here is object also created. This object dot second statement, control will come and look at n dot salary, SAL, look, and it is called as function called. This function called where exists in the entire code. So control will go and find this is the salary block is there, that's the method is there. Control will enter, control will not goes again directly to the main program. Control will come and enter the code block of the function. Here is first found, see output program, sorry, output string. So within the double quote strings are there, enter your salary, that has been displayed automatically on the output screen, that you can see in this location. Okay, enter your salary. Then can you see this one is the first statement. What you have entered here, end of the line. Go to the next line, collecting the input from the user. I have given the salary. How much the salary? That salary is going to display the next statement, end of salary. So variable, salary variable, hold the given value. So displayed. This is the declaration. Sorry, this is the execution part. So now you come and listen what is happening here. The preprocessor and header files are included here, and the standard namespace, second one. This is the hash include iostream is the preprocessor, and header file using namespace is the standard namespace. Then we have created class definition, class Newton. It is, we define the class public. You can give class definition. Then you can give this as a double slash is act as a comment line. Compiler will not read this one, the execution time. So look at public is the access specifier or modifier. Employee salary is the variable declaration. Okay, this is the function definition.